Guys, hello and welcome back. It's Skill Up here. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Incursions, in particular the challenge mode. Just my sort of general thoughts on how it's gone over the last week, because obviously it hasn't gone particularly well. And then I'm actually going to show you a challenge mode guide for how challenge modes should be done in an ideal sense. I'll come back to that later, but I mean, a long story short, you know, the way that Incursions have gone for this first week of launch has been disappointing. So like, I'm the eternal optimist for this game, you know, like I still love it and I think it's got huge potential, but I think we can all agree that when it came to the Incursions, they definitely did not hit the mark on this one. You know, obviously the biggest issue is the exploit issue, which has just been fixed with a hotfix that's just gone live on the servers a few hours ago. So apparently that exploit is no longer available to you, so players will have to do the incursion proper. So the problem though is that is actually with the fundamental design of the incursion, and what I mean is that I'm not talking about, you know, 7 shotgunners rushing you at once and whatever else. You know, I know a lot of people don't like that, but you know, I get it, and it's kind of interesting in its own way. But the problem with this is actually the level design and the fact that that middle area exists where you are able to completely avoid the mortar fire and just hide there and funnel all of the mobs or all of your enemies into that little space so that you can train them down. The fact that that little area exists actually completely breaks this entire experience, because it basically renders the rest of everything else, you know, completely redundant. There's no reason for you to be anywhere else. You just go down there and you just cheese it in the same way that everyone's been cheesing it in every single one of their guides that have been coming out. So from a design perspective, that's not great. There's also the issue of the turrets being up front, and they basically mean that that entire front section of the room that you see there, you can never go to that space, which means you're always hiding back towards the back side of the room, ideally, you know, in that trench, of course, because you know, it's safest to do that. The game has sort of been built that way to facilitate or even necessitate that type of play. So I think that's not great. I think that there's a very easy fix to challenge modes, to challenge mode incursions, and that is to remove that middle section so that's not available, and then to slightly tweak the difficulty of it, because right now having 7 shotgunners rushing you and every single thing in this game one-shots you, even if you're at like full mitigation with huge amounts of HP. I think if you're able to tweak those difficulties a little bit and make it a little bit more run and gun so that we can actually be out in the area and take a few hits and reposition and, you know, feel like it's a bit more of a fair fight, I think you can actually fix this, and incursions could actually be quite fun because they would be challenging and require a coordinated group, but they wouldn't have this sort of artificial difficulty inflation through these mobs that can basically just melt you instantly. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you one of the first clears that happened for challenge mode. Now, I don't believe that Massive have actually announced a world first yet, but I'm pretty sure these guys are up there as one of the first to do it, and they did it like legit in inverted commas. They didn't use the trench down the bottom. By the way, I'm not saying that's not legit. It's totally a legit way to do it. I'm just saying that these guys did it a different way, and it's a way that I think is way more interesting and closer to how the encounter should actually work from a design perspective. So the other thing I need to point out is that they did this pre-hotfix, and there was a hotfix that deployed that basically made the mortar spam constantly as opposed to just during the explosion waves. Now, this is not great design either, because it's essentially it's always going to force your players to go underground, and the underground trench in the middle is not the only underground area. There are others, and you've got essentially this gigantic space in this room that, you know, you can't go to the front because you've got these turrets that'll blow you up, and you kind of don't want to stay out in the open because you've got this constant mortar fire. So, you know, why does this large room exist the way that it does? So they did it using or pre-hotfix, but I really think it's the best sort of representation of what the potential for incursions is, and that is, you know, being out in the open, fighting enemies, you know, being able to move around a little bit, you know, that I think is where it needs to land. So, I suspect that the devs will eventually push us to this point where the Incursion does make us play this way. They'll fix it somehow so that we are using that space rather than just that little trench. At which point, this guide will actually be really useful. But for now, it's not useful. It's just a guide that shows you how challenge modes could have been. And it's a purely intellectual exercise. So if you're looking for some guide on how to complete challenge modes, this probably isn't for you. This does sort of talk about what you're going to get at each wave of mobs and how you might deal with that. There's a lot of detail in this that's not in a lot of other guides, but at the same time, it's not the best way to do this encounter. The best way to do this encounter is to sit down in that little trench and kill stuff as it comes down. That's it, But if you're interested to see how it could have been, then please do stick around and watch, because I think it's sort of interesting to see, what might have been when it came to the Incursions. So yeah, guys, if you like this video and you find it useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, I'll hand over to the interview, the recorded interview that I did. Just to note that the audio on it isn't great because I had to use some different software to record that interview, but it still sounds, decent enough, and hopefully you'll stick around. All right, thanks, guys. Hey, Razor, how you doing?
Hey, good Vesp.
So the story with our names is that we've actually been playing games for the last 10 years or so, and I've always been Vesp, and Razor has always been Razor, and now I am Skill Up on my YouTube channel, and Razor has his own YouTube channel now called Cheeks Up for some very funny reasons that I won't go into now. But as I said, Razor and I have been playing together for a long, long time. So I was really thrilled when Razor got the challenge mode down when he did. He got it down at 12:30 Australian time, which was, that's Brisbane time, so that three and a half hours, I think, is it, Razor, after servers went up?
Yeah, pretty much 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, so pretty damn quick, and we're still waiting on confirmation of whether or not it was a world first. But Razor, how does it feel to have it down? You happy?
Oh yeah, it's good fun. It feels good.
Nice, very nice. So
feels like going back to WoW.
The old WoW days of like progression rating, yeah, for sure. So I guess I wanted to just talk through how you did it. In particular, I want to talk first of all about your loadout and any advice that you've got for people before they go in, and then we're actually going to talk through wave by wave what are the strategies that you're using, and we're going to show you the entirety or sort of a very cut down version of your footage, and then we can talk through that and sort of really draw that out. So first of all, yeah, what's your advice on your loadout? What kind of loadout did you guys take into this?
Well, predominantly because most of us were skill power bros. We bought 3 people with electronics build and 1 with a balanced DPS build. We had a healer, a buffer, and then just like a backup guy, as well as a DPSer. So yeah, pretty much we used what you outlined in your video as a basis and went from there.
Cool.
It was pretty much near identical.
And so that extra skill power person you had was just sort of in case, or like what was the need for that? Or was it just because of that's what the gear that the person had?
It was the gear that they had, but we also did it as a backup. Like, we didn't know how hard going in, because we heard it had been like 3 days to clear or something for the devs. So we were have a smart cover backup, just have that backup in case it hits the fan. So.
Yeah, totally. Fair enough. And so would you say that that's a requirement, or would you say that if you wanted to run another DPS you could, or would you make any changes to your group composition now that you've done it?
Yeah, now that we've got like the positioning and down, like with smart cover hitting everyone, I think if you did go a DPS, it would help clear the later waves when the healers and the suppression guys come out to quicken it up.
Sure, got it. So we won't talk much more about group composition now. As I said, I've done a video on that already. I'll link in the description below, and if you do want to sort of get some more advice on how you should set up your group, just watch that video. It'll tell you pretty much everything you know. So maybe now, Razor, we can go through the footage that you have put together, and then we'll sort of talk through wave by wave what are the different strategies that you sort of employed and what are the things that you're thinking about as we go through. So Razor, we're here now, so talk us through what's happening at the very start.
So pretty much as we run through, we get set up, and the only thing you have to worry about in this initial burst is the shotgunners.
Okay.
So they pretty much just hit you from the other side of the room, and it's just crazy.
Are you saying the shotgunner's range could hit you from the other side of the room?
Yep.
Okay, I see. So you're pretty much just getting into position up in this position here. Would you say this is the best position to set yourself up for in the challenge mode?
That we found, yes. We've tried like the back room, even that front corner, and we even tried underneath, and it just seemed this one was the best one we found.
Okay,
it gives you maneuverability. instant reaction onto the door behind us, and with each person's position, you get to cover a section of the room.
Okay, Razor, so we're up to wave 2. Do you want to tell us about this wave? What's going on here?
So pretty much this wave is just all grenaders, so as soon as they pop, just pop them out and be ready to dance if needed.
Okay, so it's pretty easy to avoid. There's plenty of room up here to do that, isn't there?
Yep, as we've set it up, everyone's got a point that they can roll to dodge, so it's all good.
All right, so now I see the drones are coming in. What's the plan for these guys?
So the plan of attack for the drones is to get the blue ones first as they shock you, and then the red ones as we found that they either mark you or machine gun you down. It was a bit hit and miss on what they wanted to do.
Okay, so it looks pretty simple though. So long as you get those blue ones down, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with them. And it looks like to be shotgunners happening at the same time as those drones are out.
Yeah, they usually it's about 2 of them, so that's where you get your CC or bro to gas mine and flashbang out.
So we have one of the DPS is equipped with CC abilities like flashbang and gas seeker mines, and so he comes into effect then. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Cool. So now we're at the end of wave 4, and this is the wave in which you need to actually sort of plant the explosive on the truck, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct. One of the mobs dropped the explosives.
Okay, nothing special about that. Same as on the challenge, on the normal mode, on the hard mode, I should say. Basically, just pick it up, you run to the left side, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. You disarm the turrets, you drop it on there and run away. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. We had an assigned person for each side, and to get the explosive. So the other 2 people would just hide in the bunker and they wouldn't have the RNG of getting shot.
All right, so in wave 5, the back door opens, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. So this is where you get your first shotgunner from behind you. So just be ready to either CC him or burst him down.
Okay. I noticed you're throwing a grenade here. Is there a particular reason for that, or you just thought it'd be fun to throw a grenade?
I thought I'd give it a shot, but it actually reaches if you get it in the middle.
I see.
So it helped out there.
Okay, cool. Excellent. All right, so wave 6 looks like a bit of a filler wave. It's basically just kill some snipers and don't die. But then, of course, we get into wave 7.
Yes, wave 7 is the drone wave. This is where your CCer needs to pick up his game and be ready.
So what is he doing then?
Pretty much, he's using flashbang on the drones in midair. This will disrupt them and allow them to be picked off.
Okay, so does he actually have to stick the flashbang on the drones, or does he put it underneath them, or how does that work?
Yeah, he has to stick it on one in the middle, and then the AoE hits the rest.
Got it. And then you just basically take them down as you would a normal drone.
That's correct, yeah.
All right, so for wave 8, this looks like a bit of a variety round, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Like, initially, you'll see the drone spawn above the APC, which we just CC'd, and then it's just each person's duty to take out the shotgunners on your side or the snipers on your side, so just be aware of what's around you.
Okay, so it's drones plus shotgunners plus sniper on this one.
That's correct, yeah.
So for rank 9, this is when we start getting the sort of heavy weapon, the light machine gun using NPCs out, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. This is where they start bringing them in full force.
All right, so how do you deal with those guys?
With these, we just tried to focus fire on one just to stop them shooting from all angles.
Okay.
So it was just more try and take out the ones on one side first and then move around the room.
So would you say that they're a priority to get down, or are there other priorities during that wave, or what do you think?
Really, it's just a shotgunner first, and then the whole wave is just them for that one. So for rank 10, we just shot down the drones first, as they'll come from the backside, and then you just have the heavy weapons guys again. So pretty much just do as you did the last wave.
Those light machine gun guys?
Yes, sorry, the light machine guns.
So from what I've heard, sort of wave 11 is where shit starts to get real.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you've got the guys coming from the back door from behind you, drones spawning, and you even got some snipers up the back. Even the light machine gun guys feel like they want to rush you.
I see. Okay, right. So I see one of them coming up there. So you're saying that at rank 11, you've basically got everything coming at you all at once, and sort of it really kicks up a notch. Then is there anything you're doing differently at that point to get through that wave?
Pretty much this is where we'd probably proc our tactical links or signature skills to just live through it or DPS them down.
Okay, and is it a case that the other waves are easier than this, or is it a case of it just stays hard for the rest of the time?
From here, it just progressively gets harder. They just start throwing more things into the mix. So on to wave 12, pretty much this is where you'll have your light machine gun guys who are supported by healers. So be ready to kill those heal packs.
Okay, so you do recommend actually killing the heal packs?
Yes, yeah. Pretty much this will get you in the habit for the further waves, where once you start getting overwhelmed, it just puts you behind if not.
So you mentioned that things just get progressively harder from then on. We get into to wave 13. Tell us about this one.
Yep, this is where they step it up a notch, where they put a light machine gun and a captain from the doors behind you and the doors above you to your right.
Okay, so just so anyone that doesn't know, what does a captain do? What's a captain?
So the captain is the one that usually buffs the mobs, so this will increase their damage and just make them just more vicious.
Okay, so he's definitely the priority to go down then.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. So just to summarize, Wave 13, we've obviously got light machine gunners and we've got those captains coming out. I notice you die here. Is it a case that you'd use a different CC rotation or manage that differently next time?
Yes, we would, yeah, because pretty much what happens is 3 of us went to the back door where we needed someone to go up and CC with the guy up the top. So we'd make a good CC rotation to pin them down.
So rank 14 and 15, they're kind of the same, aren't they? Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. Pretty much they just throw all the mobs they've thrown at you all at once.
Okay, so is there any sort of special strat to this one, or is it just kind of like, look, hunker down and get it done?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just survive to be able to get that last explosive.
Okay, so from the looks of things though, it doesn't look crazy. Like you're not getting rushed from behind, and it just sort of looks like they're all down on the ground in front of you and you're just sort of taking them out one by one. Is that right? Nothing seems to be surprising you from behind.
That's correct, yeah. My team members here were good with CCing the drones on one side and taking the shotgunners out, so I think we did well here.
Okay, right, cool. And then so obviously, just to clarify how you've managed the explosions throughout, or that is blowing up the APC throughout the encounter, you've always been killing everything first and then running down and picking up the package and then going to disable the turrets and then blowing up the APC. Is that right? You haven't been trying to do it at the same time as enemies have been up.
No, that's correct. We pretty much designated an explosive guy, and me being the healer would follow him, and then the other guy would disable the turret, and then we'd hunker down.
Fantastic, cool. So is there anything else, any other tips or hints that you'd really recommend that we haven't discussed yet? I mean, obviously we've talked about loadout, we've talked about positioning, we've talked about sort of, you know, which enemies come out, where they come from and how you manage them. Is there anything else you think might be useful?
Pretty much don't be cheap on your signatures. We found that there was a few signatures up where we could have used them to help out a bit, as well as consumables and grenades like explosive bullets, incendiary ammo, warders, everything like that. They always help you CC and just puncture through.
Sure. I know I, for one, always forget to use my special ammo. I should put like a little post-it note above my screen saying use your consumable ammo, because I know it's a big problem. But yeah, look, thank you so much, Razor/Cheeks Up. I really appreciate your time. Super helpful advice. So just so you guys know, Cheeks Up has a YouTube channel that he's just started out on. He's got some awesome videos up there already. So I'm going to put the description or the link to his channel below. Check it out. You can actually watch the entirety of his run, the full 30-minute clip on his channel right now. So do check that out if you're interested. But also don't forget to subscribe to him because he's got plenty more content on the way. And guys, if you liked this video and you found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help me out in a very big way. Razor, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Vesp. Thanks for letting me be here.
No worries, man. Cheers. And thank you, everyone. And I will see you guys in the Duck Zone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.